Craig, I want to
What
start...
a great title race. Xabi Alonso, he must be thinking.
I know.
Luis, Xabi Alonso must be thinking.
Barcelona's bad luck, combined with serious refereeing errors, led the team to a 2-1 loss against Real Sociedad. Now Craig is happy.
Maybe I could have won this league.
After a nightmare week involving Real Madrid, ESPN shows great satisfaction in discussing Barcelona's defeat.
After everything, after all the criticism we've thrown at Real Madrid, there's only 1 point between the top two now in La Liga.
And Barcelona didn't play badly. That's the strange thing. They did not play badly. This game was just bonkers. And yeah, Real Sociedad were defending for their lives at the end, but for the bulk of the game, and certainly before, long parts before they went down to 10 men, they were trying to take the game to Barcelona, and that made it so entertaining. And I don't think Hansi Flick can sit in that dressing room and go, right, that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Because they did 95% of the things correctly. Yes, they've given up 2 goals. And when you score a goal, as they did to get back in the game, you've got to be more switched on than they were. They were not, and they got punished. But Barcelona did a lot of really good things and just never got their just rewards for bad finishing or great goalkeeping or offsides or whatever it was. That's just not their day. And Real Sociedad can be really proud of what they gave. And you know, from a La Liga perspective, that was a quality football match.
Yeah, if you wanted to sell someone just on football in general, this would be a great 90 minutes to show them, Luis.
Yeah, definitely. We saw a big change, and I totally agree with Craig 100%. With Barcelona today, they did so many good things: the intensity, the mobility, the dynamism of the player, the changing the players, the creativity that we saw. It was a fantastic game, but in the end, what mattered the most is when you have to be clinical, you have to finish your chances. And Barcelona today, they got in front a keeper that he was on fire today. It was fantastic. He made 4 fantastic saves that he could have big goals. So if you have to play, you go to the dressing room, you cannot go and make any complaint about your players, because definitely if you're going to lose a game, it has to be like this against a team that never lost the face of the game, that he had that personality, that they scored. When they conceded the goal, Real Sociedad, you could see the Barcelona start dominating more the game, but they never went down. They didn't go on a solid block back to try to defend. No, their reaction was straight away to go forward, to bring the ball as closer to the box as possible, and they found that goal from Guedes. So in the end, it was a fantastic game to watch.
Funny that I can see Real Madrid fans sitting at home going, oh, if they'd lost 2-1 against Real Sociedad, you'd be killing them.
Yeah, but we'd probably have sat here and watched a most boring Real Madrid performance that had no dynamism about it, that had no energy about it, that didn't have, let's be honest, that game had us on the edge of our seats. You know, I said at half-time, that pressure will have to tell, but it didn't. But it didn't make it any less exciting, because the chances were just end to end, but particularly at one end, at Real Sociedad's defensive end for the bulk of it. And that's the difference, I think, when Hansi Flick goes away, and when Real Madrid have gone away recently, in victory and defeat, and they've looked at themselves in the mirror and said, what was that game all about? It was about result, but not performance. This game today, and it is a results-driven business, of course it is, but this game today didn't go Barcelona's way. But if you can tidy up those couple of things defensively, which is a big ask because it's been a weak point for them, or can be a weak point for them, there's nothing to suggest if they continue to play like that, they will miss the amount of chances that they missed. And they won't put teams away. The chances of them playing like that and not putting teams away is very slim. So there wasn't a lot wrong with Barcelona's performance today. They come up against a side that was prepared at times to go toe-to-toe with them and probably had their best performance of the season. And sometimes you get games like that. They're at the top of the league. I think it's a mini wake-up call that, you know, there is a title race still on. But in terms of performance from Barcelona, it was exciting to watch. But in the end, you cannot deny Real Sociedad dug in there for the 3 points.
Do you think the Real Madrid fans who whistled yesterday are sat at home going, do you know, maybe we should support this lot because they can win La Liga?
Yes, of course. What it matters the most is to look at the table after the weekend and be proud that you managed to get a good result, even though that it wasn't the best performance. There's some bright lights in the second half with the newcomers, with the Guller, Masantono, and Ceballos. But definitely, you have that hope that you are just 1 point behind and you can win a trophy or 2 trophies if we talk about Champions League. Definitely, Real Madrid is all about the spirit. It's all about the history of the club. And even though when they are not delivering good performances on the field, you know they are always going to be dangerous, always going to be fighting for the trophy. So, yeah, I don't want to lose to say that Barcelona, because they lost today, they won, I think, 11 games in a row, and they are in a fantastic moment. Just if you play 10 times this game, probably 9 times you're going to win it. Today, it was in the side of Real Sociedad. They will really deserve it. So I'm not concerned about Barcelona performances, because I expect them, if I'm Hansi Flick, to go there and say, listen, guys, just keep on going. Just do exactly the same in the next game, because it will go in our side.
Barcelona had a dominant start but ran into crucial refereeing decisions led by Gil Manzano. Fermín López scored a beautiful long-range goal, but it was ruled out after VAR identified a foul by Dani Olmo on Take Kubo in the build-up. Later, a goal by De Jong was also disallowed for offside after a cross from Pedri. Refereeing analyst Barrenechea Montero noted that although there was contact by Olmo on Kubo, it was up to the referee to judge whether the force was sufficient to call a foul. It's true that Olmo hit Kubo, but the action was somewhat strong. It's up to the referee to assess the force of the impact to determine whether it was enough to bring down the Real Sociedad player. I think Fermín's goal was correctly disallowed due to Olmo's foul, but in the play leading to Oyarzábal's goal for Real Sociedad, a possible foul on Olmo was not reviewed by VAR. The decision, once again involving Del Cerro Grande, sparked protests from Barcelona and criticism over the lack of consistency in VAR reviews. Another controversy arose at Anoeta due to a Barcelona goal disallowed for offside. Last season, a similar controversy occurred when a Lewandowski goal was ruled out for alleged offside, a call the VAR failed to clearly confirm. It actually seemed to confuse his foot with that of the opponent. This Sunday, Lamine Yamal was involved in another questionable VAR decision. In the 27th minute, after a challenge between Koundé and a Real Sociedad defender inside the box, the ball fell to Lamine Yamal, who fired it into the net with no chance for Ramiro. The referee initially awarded the goal, but after reviewing the play, VAR warned of a possible irregularity in the Barcelona attacker's positioning. In addition, the video referee Del Cerro Grande concluded that the ball reached Lamine from Koundé, not from the Real Sociedad player, a point that remained unclear. As a result, the goal was ruled offside. However, the image meant to confirm the VAR decision raised further doubts. The drawn line suggested that, if the offside was indeed correct, the margin was minimal. Cesar Barrenechea Montero, Mundo Deportivo's refereeing analyst, commented on the play, stating, "Regarding the VAR image, we have to trust the semi-automated line. The doubt is whether the ball came from Koundé or the Real Sociedad player. It seems both touched the ball at the same time, and it's not clear that the pass came from Koundé." The situation was compared to last year's Real Sociedad vs Barcelona match. Lewandowski scored in the 13th minute. The goal was initially validated, but VAR disallowed it for offside, claiming the tip of the Polish striker's boot was ahead. The controversy arose because the images suggest that the foot attributed to Lewandowski by VAR actually appeared to belong to the Real Sociedad player, since the Barcelona striker's heel was behind that of defender Aguerd. Either that, or the Polish player was wearing extra-large boots, which certainly was not the case. Eric Garcia, speaking to Barca's YouTube channel, questioned the image provided by the VAR room to show that Lamine Yamal was in an offside position. "I'm not in the VAR room, but the image they show of the offside. We have to keep going. There's no other option. We know how it is. Flick emphasizes this a lot, and we know that even if decisions don't go our way, we have to stick to our game. And still, we played well, with enough chances to win the match. A game you should win easily and calmly ends in defeat, but that's football. We have to move on. The team played well and dominated. It's true that in the second half there was a moment when they pressed more, but overall we did well. We had many chances, and we only conceded 2 crosses into the box, and that's something we need to improve both offensively and defensively. It's something we need to work on for Wednesday's Champions League match against Slavia Prague." We scored the equalizer, and in the very next play they made it 2-1. It was a hard blow. We tried until the end, had another chance with Koundé hitting the post, and there's not much more to say really. Frenkie de Jong was furious and lashed out over what he called refereeing robbery. He spoke to DAZN microphones after being shown a yellow card by Jesus Gil Manzano for protesting, and he exploded in anger. That referee is incredibly frustrating. You're not allowed to speak even though I'm the captain and I should be able to. He looks at you like he's saying, "Am I better than you?" You can't contribute like that. Then, during stoppage time, I told him to keep an eye on the clock because every foul, and it's normal that they commit those fouls, every throw-in or goal kick was time wasting. They take a minute to take a throw-in, I told him. He showed me a yellow card, and even so, he only added 10 seconds. It's crazy, de Jong complained. The images showed someone from the club off camera, presumably from the communications department, asking him to stop criticizing the referee. I didn't say anything, he replied as he walked away. Referee was asked about the disallowed goal by Lamine Yamal in the first half. If it was offside, fine, although we were told it wasn't. I spoke with the fourth official and he confirmed that to me. Something similar happened here last year. As for the flow of the match, de Jong had no doubts. We deserved to win. We had the chances, we just lacked finishing, and their goalkeeper played very well. Hansi Flick expressed his disappointment with the result after the match, but said he was satisfied with the team's performance, except for a few moments when we should have defended better. We created many chances. The scoreline doesn't reflect what we saw. There are days when you invest a lot of energy, and in the end, you're unlucky. However, in his analysis, he said, "I value what I saw. In some situations, we need to defend better. It's a process, but I appreciate what I saw." He revealed, "I've already told the players, we weren't lucky, and now we need to focus on the next match." Fermin also reacted to Lamine's controversial disallowed goal. He posted a story with a screenshot of the offside decision, along with several laughing and crying emojis. Earlier, Fermin had already seen a Robert Lewandowski goal ruled out in the same match for another razor-thin offside. In addition to the story, Fermin shared several photos with a message that could easily reflect the feeling of the entire squad. "Proud of my team, they won't beat us. Visca el Barça," he wrote. Some matches are incredibly hard to explain. They are irrational, especially when one team dominates, presses, creates chances, and scores goals but still loses, while the opponent, with minimal yet well-calculated effort, wins. That's exactly what happened to Barça at Anoeta against Real Sociedad. 3 goals disallowed, 1 penalty awarded, 5 shots off the post, and the joy of an equalizer that lasted only 1 minute. A list of frustrations that neither Flick nor the players will forget. Barca's defeat to Real Sociedad was marked by bad luck and a strong sense of injustice in a match where the ball simply would not go in. Despite dominating, creating chances, and playing with confidence, the Blaugrana saw fate conspire against them, allowing Real Madrid to close the gap in the standings. With a strong and composed team, even without Rafinha, Barca controlled the match from the start in an intense clash filled with disallowed goals and decisive VAR interventions, yet were ultimately punished despite their effort and clear superiority. All that was missing was the finishing. The academy product worked tirelessly, relentlessly so. On one occasion, Ramiro pushed away a well-placed shot, and on another, he won a penalty that was also overturned for offside. It was incredible and at the same time frustrating for us. Barcelona equalized in the 70th minute with a goal by Marcus Rashford after a precise cross from Lamine Yamal, but conceded the decisive goal immediately afterward and lost 2-1 to Real Sociedad. Barcelona took 24 shots, 11 of them on target, and hit the post 5 times. In the next round, Barcelona host Oviedo, while Real Madrid face Villarreal. The good news is that Real Madrid could drop points because Villarreal are playing very well. Lamine Yamal's goal was stolen,